Okay, that sounds good, John. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Sarah.
Good afternoon.
Let's wait a little bit longer and see who else we can get to pop in here.
Well, Jerry will be here. I just talked to him, so I'm sure he'll be on shortly. He's not yet.
I was going to volunteer you to chair, John.
Well, you could do it better, Carla.
No, it's been years. Plus, I didn't print out the agenda, so there you go.
Oh, that's all right. She'll show us the agenda. So.
How has everyone's March been?
It's been good. No mask.
Yeah, it's always fun. Okay, let me get this all open. Do we know if Anne's coming?
Don't. I guess we need, right now, there's only 3 of us, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, one more.
we need one more.
One more. Come on, Jerry.
Jerry's going to be on, I'm sure of it. I just talked to him 10 minutes ago. So
You've been bamboozled.
yeah, maybe he lied to me.
I think Floyd's still out of town. Did he get a hold of you by any chance?
I think he did. I know one person got a hold of me.
Well, Bob Howard is working a contract project, I believe. and
Bob
so
got a hold of me.
He would be unable to do it. So
Yeah, Floyd did not get a hold of me. Bob, sorry, I'm still learning everyone's names. It's
Sure.
gonna take some time. Bob got a hold of me, said he is working, so he has his excused absence for the day. Is that a cat I see behind you, John?
it's a dog.
A dog.
Yeah. His name's
Aw.
Eddie. That's Eddie.
Aw. How sweet. What kind of dog?
Well, he's part Boston Bull and part a Griffin, which is a small little hunting dog out of, I'm not sure where, I think France or somewhere. He was
Aw.
a stray in Yelm that the Yelm vet picked up about 9 years ago and didn't know what to do with, so I'm stuck with him.
Aw. Well, you can always change it around. He's stuck with you.
Yeah, he's stuck with me.
Yeah.
Oh, we have 4. There's Floyd.
Alrighty.
There we go.
So Anne should probably be popping in here usually in a minute. If not, that's okay. As long as we have that 4, we can get going. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. Can we take roll?
I guess you'll call the roll off for us.
Yeah, you do.
Okay,
You get to
perfect.
Call the roll, so.
Okay,
You're
so
muted, Floyd.
All right, let's see. So Anne's not here. Give me 1 second.
So Sarah, you know, you call out the person's name and they say here, if they don't say anything, they're not here.
Correct.
That's probably the
Just wanted
easiest.
to make sure.
So Jerry Fugic. Am I pronouncing that properly?
Yes,
Yeah,
So Jerry's not here. John Graver,
Here,
Robert Howard, Carlos Perez,
here.
Floyd Sheldon,
Here.
John Thompson,
here,
and Ann Warmond. Okay. So Ann and there's Ann.
oh, there's Ann.
Okay, perfect. So that puts us at 5. So let me get this all marked down. Okay. Alrighty.
Jerry just called me. Let me see what's going on.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
we'd
Jerry.
like to.
You can't get into the Zoom meeting. If you go onto your computer, she sent one out an hour ago, and then just click as a panelist. Yeah, check. She sent an email out 1 hour before the meeting. If you pull that email up and then click panelist, that'll access you to the Zoom.
Okay, so would we like to click or not click, say the Pledge of Allegiance really quickly? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mute John, but we can go ahead and.
I'm on the phone with Jerry right now. He's trying to get on to Zoom. If we
It's-
could,
Yeah, London, would you like to wait for Jerry or would you like to move ahead with Pledge of Allegiance?
actually, I can put him on speaker and he can talk through here if you want. Can he do that? Jerry, speak up.
Yes, I can do that. I've got it on speaker.
That's London's call.
Well, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure. Yeah, John. John, if you feel comfortable with it, then I'm okay with it.
I don't have
you're
any
the chair.
problem.
Okay.
He can speak. You can hear him off my speaker here, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah, maybe Jerry can keep trying to log in over the next few minutes.
He's working on it. So
In the
Okay,
meantime,
perfect.
would someone like to start the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ann, you want to do it?
I'll do it. I'll do it. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to
to
the
the flag
flag of the United States
States of America.
and to the
and
and
to
to
the
republic
the republic
for which it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
Monday,
under
under
God,
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 indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
and justice for all.
Okay.
And I tell Sarah that I never did get the email she sent out an hour ago.
He didn't get your email, Sarah.
I guess London, do you want to send Jerry another email really quick?
Sure, I can.
Well,
do
Jerry
that
can
real-
talk through the through my phone here, I would think, if you can hear him. So, and Jerry you can hear all the conversation, can't you, Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can't hear it all. But the one I looked at that got the link was sent out on the 17th and never did get one. Today I got 2 of them, but it doesn't have the link. One that was sent at 3:41, and the other one was sent at 3:43
Today?
today, but never got one or a link today.
would have been yesterday, I think.
She had one today,
Oh, okay, well,
because I clicked that one.
I
Yeah.
just sent Jerry a link.
She just
Yeah.
sent you a link.
and I forwarded him one, so he should get something.
I did too. From Sunday.
It's gonna crash.
So while we're waiting on Jerry, let's go ahead and move on since we at least have 4 people. And then Jerry can
Fine.
just stop in whenever he's ready.
Let's say, here it is.
Um,
Okay.
so has everyone had a chance to review the attached agenda from today?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect. Can this be approved? Can we move to approve this?
I'd make a motion
move-
that we approve the agenda.
Second,
I second.
Perfect. Has everyone had it
Oh, you got all in
opportunity
favor now.
to read the attached minutes?
No, you have to do all in favor of the agenda first. And vote.
All in favor of the agenda. I'm sorry. I'm still new to this. I'm
Okay.
learning. Thank you guys.
You'll get it. Aye.
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 Thank you. Has everyone had an opportunity to read the attached minutes?
Yes,
Yes.
Can we move to approve these minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor of that?
aye.
Perfect. Okay. So, any, anything that the public would like to say or any public communications that would like to go through now?
Normally you would have those if there were any.
Yeah.
We do have one. I do know that someone is interested to listen today. That is someone that is interested in the public hearing. So let's go ahead and move on with that public hearing for now.
Sarah, if
So-
I can just jump in real quick, I apologize. Brian Hess is trying to join and he's also saying that the link is not working
Mhm.
for him. Once we get into my presentation, can you forward him a link?
I actually, that would actually have to be you because you're the webinar host. I could forward him one, but then he would be a panelist.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm a panelist. That's how I came in.
All right, I'll hang up then.
Okay, I'm not totally sure how to do that, Sarah, so we'll just have to move forward, I guess.
You could possibly demote him from being a panelist once he gets in here, if you know how to do that.
Yeah, let's see.
Jerry's on now, so.
Hello, Jerry. Let me,
And Jerry's the president, so he'd be running the meeting now if he's got his
Yeah,
information.
There we go.
and another thing I never got was the agenda.
We've already approved it, Jerry,
I
without,
know, but she never sent it to me.
it was out on the Yelm website. I had to go out there to get it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
usually just sent it as an attachment. That way it was a lot easier to deal with.
we used to, but sometimes those don't work all the time. So
But it didn't work at all this time.
you just have to click a link usually. I'll send it to you now. But it's just a link that you usually have to click for the agenda. Okay. For Brian Hess, I can bring him in as a panelist, but London, you'll just have to demote him or he'll have to stay quiet during the meeting until we're ready for him to talk.
That sounds good, Sarah,
Do you,
thanks.
here, I have his email. Okay, let's go ahead and move on with the hearing examiner. So I'm going to open this public hearing. The public hearing is now open. It is Monday, the 21st, March 2022 at 4:13 p.m. We are on Zoom.
Yeah, I'm in a Zoom meeting right now for Yelm City Planning.
Jerry, you have to put it on mute if you're talking on the phone. Being recorded.
The purpose of tonight's hearing is to receive public testimony on updates to the 2021 Unified Development Code. London, do you have a staff report ready for us to go?
I do. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining tonight. I will now share my staff presentation with you, and we'll go ahead and get started. This should be fairly short, but happy to answer any questions that any of you might have. This is just kind of an initial development code update package. Staff is moving from a yearly presentation of development code updates to as needed. So this is kind of the first wave just to test out the new process, and then we'll have a lot more for you probably in May, possibly in April, but most likely in May. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, great to be with you today on another great day in Yelm. So with that, let's just jump right into it. Let me minimize my talking heads. Okay, now I can see all of my screen. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's one technical thing that's going right on this day. That's definitely cause for celebration. So staff has two different code provisions that we would like to present to you at this time. And the first one is having to do with townhomes in the R4 zone. So right now, the R4 zone currently allows townhomes to comprise no more than 50% of a development, and staff is proposing to actually remove this from the code. As you know, Washington is in kind of a housing affordability crisis right now, and staff also has some concerns about lots of sprawl happening in Yelm. We all really like the cozy small town feel that our city has. And while we want to accommodate growth and allow more new friends and neighbors into our city, then we want to make sure that we're not just sort of sprawling outwards and building townhomes instead of single family homes can help with that for sure. So it would help us to be more flexible and definitely also give variety to neighborhoods as well, and increase choice for residents and developers. In the staff report, there were some obligations that I discussed that we have from our comprehensive plan. And let me pull up my staff report real quick just so that I can share that with you. Here we go. Can everyone still see the staff report now? Or are we
Yes.
still on PowerPoint?
We see your PowerPoint.
We're not seeing, it. Well, yeah, it's a PowerPoint. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's all right. I'll just read a couple of things I had for the comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan, one of the goals that it obligates us to fulfill is to create a range of housing opportunities and choices, and also to take advantage of compact building design. And both of those are fulfilled by this potential code amendment. This amendment would also change the name of the R4 zone to R1, thus beginning the process of simplifying residential zone names. Currently, our residential zones are R4, R6, and R16, and we're proposing to change those to R1, R2, and R3. And that's number one, just to make it a little bit more simple for staff and developers and citizens to look at and understand. And also to match it with our commercial zones, which are C1, C2, and C3. So R2 and R3 would come in a later code update, but R1 we would do right now. So that is the R4 townhome, or potentially R1 townhome code amendment. And then the other one is just for accessory use regulations. So we're proposing to clarify and add a number of regulations relating to accessory uses and structures. One currently exists and the other two are new. So 1A it's a new regulation, and it would clarify that accessory uses must be located on the same lot of record as the principal use or building. And it also, I didn't put this in my presentation, but it also says that if you have a use that covers two or more lots, then those lots are considered consolidated by the terms of our code. And the reason that we are suggesting that is just there are many grandfathered uses within Yelm, and some of them straddle 2 or even more lots. And so if you know they want to do some kind of accessory structure on their property, then this would just clarify that for the purposes of our code, that's 1 lot. So that's 1A, and then 1B is an existing regulation that we've duplicated in several other code sections, and we want to bring all of those together into this accessory use and structure section, just to clarify things and to make it easier for people to find. This code section just says that accessory buildings have to comply with all building setbacks except in certain situations. And then section 2, which is the final accessory use regulation that we're proposing today, requires that any building additions must match the primary structure. So if somebody wants to add on to their house, for instance, or if somebody wants to add on to a commercial building, then the addition has to match how the primary structure looks. So you don't have like one modern building and then part of it is super Victorian looking with, you know, mansard roofs and gables and all this. So those are accessory use regulations. Fairly short presentation today. These staff feels that these are fairly simple, straightforward. They won't have any negative impacts on the city, especially the accessory use. That's really more clarification. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have at this time.
I have a question, London.
Please.
Would the elimination of that restriction on townhomes just incentivize the builders to build nothing but townhomes in a subdivision? I mean, what's to limit them to do nothing but?
Yeah, I think the demand for single-family detached homes is pretty strong. I think that the market provides some natural counterbalance to that. This is really about just more introducing a range of housing types. We will probably with this see more townhome developments. We have had some interest from developers in that, but I don't foresee that we would just have nothing but townhomes in Yelm. And I think we would have to have literal thousands of townhomes built before it started to sort of overwhelm the look of Yelm. And because we have, frankly, mostly single family homes here right now. So I don't see this as something that is a problem, even if a lot more townhomes get built. But theoretically it could be possible. But even in R6, some of our higher density zones, then we're still seeing single family. But does that answer your question, or do you want to delve a little bit deeper into that, Carlos?
No, that's fine. I was just concerned that it just might give them a free hand to just continue doing nothing but townhomes, but that's without any kind of limitation.
Let me question now. Am I understanding then you're eliminating R4 and you'll just have R1, which could have townhomes or regular homes? Is that my understanding?
So everything that's in R4 right now would stay the same, except we would just be changing the townhome regulations. R1 is the same as R4. We were just changing the name of it to make it more clear. R4 is...
For me, it makes it less clear because it had a meaning to me. R4 did, and R6. And in terms of the minimum number of houses per, what is it, the acreage? No.
Yeah, per acre.
Units per acre. So R4 is 4, R6 is 6, and R16 is 16.
Right. So that I'm confused as to why we need to change that, because it does have meaning.
Yeah, I think And our reasoning behind that was just to match it with our C1, C2, C3 zones, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, the commercial zones don't have that type of, how many houses per acre at all.
That's true. We felt like it was good to have standardization of language across the board, but if that's something that planning commission feels is confusing, then we can certainly not do that. We don't have to do that.
It just seems like it's been meaningful for me. I don't know how the others feel. So that I could always relate to it, the R4 versus R6 and the others. It made me realize where the apartments might be. It's R16. So
I did have a quick question if you had a
If-
minute.
If I may, really quickly, so we actually, for our public hearings, we focus on our planning commission first, and then we will go to public comment after that.
Oh, sure, no worries.
Does planning commission have any other concerns or questions they would like to have addressed before we move on to the public concerns or comments?
I would like one just clarification. We're only talking about townhouses, right? We're not talking about apartments or
Correct.
multi, and so now are we talking about the number, like a townhouse, would that also include duplexes and townhouses, I would assume, since a townhouse probably is more than two.
Right. So any kind of single family attached housing is really what we mean by townhomes. And we could certainly change the wording in the code to reflect that. We've just kept the terminology townhome to reflect what has already been there. But yeah, any kind of single family attached housing, and that does have to meet the underlying density. So you're only looking at 4 units per acre. So in the R4 zone, we're not going to be seeing, acres and acres of townhomes. That would be something that would be appropriate more for R16. This is just going to be smaller developments. If you have 5 acres, then if somebody wants to develop 5 acres with townhomes, then you're going to see 20 townhomes. So this isn't something that is going to really be changing the density of R4. It's not something that is going to be allowing apartments or anything like that. Because we already allow townhomes in the R4 zone, then our code implies that it considers townhomes to be low density. And so nothing is really changing with this, except that we would just be getting more townhomes in single family developments and less single family homes. If somebody wanted to do a 100% townhome development, then they could do that.
I guess I'm still confused a little bit on what the definition of a townhome is versus a single family dwelling. Is a townhome 2 homes built together in one structure, 4 homes, 6 homes, 16, 28 homes? What is the definition of a townhome versus a single home?
Our definition of townhome would just be single family attached, as opposed to single family detached, which is just 1 home on 1 lot. But with townhomes, you could have multiple units on 1 lot. And that's really what it is.
But so therefore, I guess to clarify, if it was zoned R4, how many townhomes could I build on an R4 acre?
You could build 4, because it has to meet the underlying density of the zone, which is 4 units per acre in the R4 zone.
But now an R1 zone, how many homes per acre?
So R1 is the same as R4. It would just have the name changed.
I'm like Ann, I'm confused.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we need to drop the rename, because that's confusing a lot of people. So that's not as clarifying as we thought it would be. So we'll keep it R4. But yes, in the R4 zone, then you could only have 4 townhomes per acre with the code change that we're suggesting.
I think I may have actually been a part of that R4 being half, one thing and half another, but the way things are going today, my idea is, hey, if we can make it a little more, hopefully more economically easier to get into houses, meaning townhouses, that'd be a great thing. But the other thing that I like is that if somebody does 4 townhomes together, which is usually much easier to build, usually they don't take up as much ground space, which allows for much more common area. So it actually may very well be more green than having single family homes.
The interesting problem I see with this is, as the guy mowing the lawn, taking an acre and building 4 townhomes on the acre. So therefore there is a half an acre of something there that someone has to maintain. Who of the 4 people maintain it?
HOA.
HOA, yeah.
That is, see, that's a unique problem to have an HOA for 4 homes, or at least to me. Maybe they're doing that now. I guess they have to.
Yeah, I think that the likelihood of us having only 4 townhomes on a lot, for the reasons that you mentioned, John, I think it's pretty unlikely. I think that you're going to see this, in developments of 20 or 25 or 30 townhomes, where they do, where they do have more of, more base for the HOA. I think that the market will take care of a lot of the concerns that you're suggesting, but I mean, we can always come back and change it if there are unforeseen consequences that we're not seeing here. Then certainly we can go back to the drawing board. We don't have to be static, and that's why we're trying to present development code amendments more often to the Planning Commission, is so that we can be nimble and responsive to the needs of the community as they arise. So, I would hope to assuage some of your concerns with this. If we see some problems with it in a year or 2, if we are getting weird 4 townhome developments that have HOAs that they're not paying into, and the landscaping isn't being taken care of, then we can certainly go back to the drawing board. But I think that's pretty unlikely, just based on what we're seeing from our developers right now and what the market is looking like.
I have another question.
Sure.
But I wanted to defer to anybody else that had a question that was on the Planning Commission first, because I don't want to. My question has to do with the second part that you went into, which had the auxiliary buildings. And I need clarification that if you wanted to build an auxiliary building and you owned a double lot, are you not allowed to build on the double lot, and even have to have setbacks from your own lot, your own second lot to build?
So with new construction, and what we would do is just have them combine the 2 lots. We don't really allow new construction to cover multiple lots. What these regulations are referring to is really with existing buildings that might be doing additions or just non-conforming uses that have been grandfathered in from years ago, so that there's a code basis for us to not force those existing properties to combine if they're on multiple lots.
I don't understand your response. Can you tell me yes or no? If I have a double lot, am I allowed to build an auxiliary building that goes across both lots?
No, we would require you to combine the 2 lots.
To legally combine the 2 lots. Okay.
Yep.
Even if it was grandfathered in somehow from, if we'd already been there for 30 years?
I think in that situation, we'd probably just take it on a case-by-case basis, just to see if we would require that lot combination or not. But the code that we're proposing is basically just to, if we did want to allow that to go forward, then we'd have a basis for it, basically.
Is this a brand new code for the city that
Yeah,
you're proposing?
this is not something that has been codified before, so we're just trying to clarify it as much as we can, and make sure that if we are in that kind of situation, it's extremely likely. But if somebody does want to build on their lot for some reason, then we have some code where we can point to say yes or no.
I'm still confused. If a homeowner owns a lot, you're saying they can't build something on it if it goes across the lot line.
It's only if the house is combined. In other words, if you owned a house on one lot and you wanted to add to that house and it crossed the property line onto the second lot, then you'd have to combine the lot. That's what they're saying. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, John.
But if you wanted to build a utility house of some kind, would it still apply?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me look at the code language itself.
Say if it didn't cross the line, it was exactly on the other side, if it was on the other lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, yeah,
He's talking about a separate structure.
Mhm.
yes,
Building a shop, for example, on your
Yes.
property, and so the house is on one of your lots and you want to put a shop on the other lot, you own two
Right.
lots.
If
If
I
they
may,
didn't cross the boundary, I would think you could get a permit to put the shop on the other lot.
if I may, actually, to have an accessory, let's say if you were planning to build a garage, correct, on a lot that's a different parcel from the one your house is on, we actually don't allow that because that would technically be an accessory to nothing at that point. We only allow accessory structures when it actually is an accessory on the same parcel. So what we're essentially stating is if you were building, let's say, an accessory on that lot line, like let's say it's already on the lot line or whatever, like I don't think we'd really make you go through and change this because it's called a non-conforming structure. So as long as it's non-conforming, it's technically what you were saying and grandfathered in. But if you were to go ahead and say, well, you know what, I want another garage behind my first garage to have two garages for no reason,
Mhm.
then we'd be like, well, now you have to conform to that, and now you have to conform to that code of combining those two lots.
Okay, I just don't want us to go around tearing down buildings.
No,
And-
we're not.
And this is definitely not about us forcing people into tearing down structures. This is about people who want to put in new development.
This is for future to protect our city from this
Yeah.
happening.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly. So what we're saying is that any new accessory use has to be on the lot as the principal use. But the second part of it, where accessory uses cross lot lines are located on an adjacent lot, we consider those multiple lots as one lot just to protect the property owner.
Wow,
That's-
so now, since you brought that up, now I have a question. I totally understand the idea of having a home that reaches both lots and all the rest, but you had mentioned that you can't have a garage. Let's say I own parcel A, and then on parcel B, I want to put a garage.
Mhm.
But you're saying that I can't do that because it's not on parcel A. And so are you saying if I build it or try and build it as an auxiliary unit, I can't do it? Is there some other way I can do it?
Yes.
You would
so-
just,
By combining the
Sorry, sir.
lots.
No,
yeah,
no,
you would
okay.
combine those lots, John.
Yeah, but other than that, I can't build a garage on a single parcel without some primary on there.
yeah,
Correct.
unless you built a house with it.
Yep.
How about if the house is like this big?
yeah, little garage apartment on top of the,
Yeah.
I think you have to talk to Chris Vaccaro.
Yeah, I think you guys are getting into the weeds a little bit with that. So
Okay, I was just trying to figure, I didn't realize we couldn't do that.
yeah, that's something that we would like to codify. It's what we do now already, but we just want that to be in the code so we can formalize it so that if somebody does want to come and put an accessory type of use on another lot, then we have something to point to say no. That it has to be on a principal lot.
I'd really like to hear what Brian Hess wants to say. And I don't have any more questions.
Does anyone else have any more questions in the Planning Commission for us today? Perfect. Alrighty. Well, is there anyone in the audience that would like to testify? If so, raise your hand, come forward and state your name, please.
Hello, my name is Matthew Garish. I see it says John Graver on there.
There's two of me.
Yeah, I think because we were trying to go through the Zoom link on the PDF and it didn't work for some reason. We're like sitting in a session, but I'm glad I could join here. It would be regarding the R4 code change. And I think one of the biggest benefits with that is allowing the developer to create conformity in a community. So if they do want to go townhomes or single family, being stuck doing 50-50. I'm also in the real estate profession as well. And I think one thing that would hinder value if you have 50% townhomes and 50% single family is the townhomes potentially making an unconformity in the community. And my father and I, Brian, would be looking into making a townhome community. And I think a good example of allowing us to utilize the R4 zoning that we're in is that half of the acreage is hindered by wetlands. So half of it's not usable. So the buildable portion of this land, I think the highest and best use for this would be to utilize a townhome development. And overall, I was also kind of wondering what the process would look like if you guys are going to be doing this code amendment, what the steps would be and when we could be submitting a potential plat to you guys to show us, show our community and layout.
Matthew, that's probably a good question for after Planning Commission, just as far as process. So if you want to talk to Sarah, do you have the contact information for our planning team?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Matt
Okay,
and I talk a
perfect.
lot, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Yeah, I would talk to Sarah about that one after the meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. I guess that's my question.
All right, perfect. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to testify or come forward? London, do you have any comments on your end?
I don't. I think we've tried to explain it as well as we can. So
perfect. And does our staff have anything that they'd like to come forward with or testify with? Miriam, London?
I noticed Chris was on before. I didn't know if he was going to actually talk a little bit about the tree board.
Oh, we would probably talk more about the tree board, probably in an email or a phone call, most likely.
Hey, after listening to everybody and what Matt, and I've talked to Matt's mom about what they want to do. I think because it's newer construction, I'm not opposed to a community of townhomes because I've seen them in other places, and the cost, and frankly, the cost of buying a home, even in Yelm, is getting so high that I think it'd be another opportunity. And we get so much military coming through that I think it would provide a great option for service members that move up here. So I don't have an issue with townhome communities. I really don't. And I think when you start thinking about taxes, I think it'll bring more tax revenue for us too. So I think it's just another option. I think it's a good option. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Hey, Sarah, I don't know if I see in the question and answer, there's a Brian Hess that, can I speak?
I do see Brian Hess is trying to speak. So
yeah,
London, you would have to promote him.
Okay.
Hi.
There he is. Oh my
Can you hear
God,
me?
there's 3 of me.
Yeah, well, what we're looking at right now, we have the usage, if we wanted to, as it states, if we wanted to put in townhomes with a 15% added usage, we would have to go 50% residential and 50% townhome, where I think that would kind of hinder the look of the community if where you putting these two elements together. And I've seen townhome developments where they're just one development. And I think that would look a lot better and work a lot better being able to just do one or the other. So having the R4 go to R6, which would let us do an entire development in townhomes, would, I think that would be a lot better presentation to the community.
Thank you for that,
Okay,
Brian. London, if I may, one last thing too for staff, unless London, you have anything else you'd like to mention? I would like to mention the Planning Commission. We already do allow townhomes at their full capacity in R16. So this really wouldn't be changing much. It would only be affecting the R4 and R6 technically. So it's really not changing too much here, just a little bit on that density. And we're just trying to make our community look more unified together and allow for that growth.
I like the idea.
All right. Well, if there are no other questions or
So
concerns.
the other John Graver is Brian Garish. It was not Brian Hess, whoever Brian Hess was.
Also, I had a question with the water situation. I was out there at the property the other day and I've noticed apartments are going up. We've got a model unit going in over there on the bigger development, the 118 unit development. Do we have water availability yet?
So that we're still waiting on. That would be something that would be better discussed outside of a planning commission meeting. Right now, we're still working on those water rights with the Department of Ecology. It's more on them than us. So if you'd like to discuss that more, go ahead and feel free to give me a call. Probably after the planning commission tomorrow sometime. London, Brian Hess is still in here.
yeah, I'm gonna allow him to talk real quick. So Brian, I'm gonna click the allow to talk button. Are you there, Brian?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, I apologize for being late to it. I had some difficulty. I appreciate your presentation. And I just want to speak in reference to the concerns of the townhomes within single-family home areas. I think it's a great thing. The days of streets lined with just single-family homes, and then somewhere else in the neighborhood or in your community is the apartments, and somewhere else townhomes. Those days I kind of think are starting to change, because it actually brings more to the community when you have a mixture. I'm not saying bring apartments into the single family home area, but the townhomes, as was stated earlier, allows for more affordability, allows people to be able to get in with a first-time home. And that's something that I think Yelm would want to promote. We are a growing community. We have lots of single-family homes that are priced in the $200, $300 on up $1,000 range, but we don't really have enough entry level. And so I think it's in reference to the changing the R4 to the R1. I think that's great, because I don't see a developer all of a sudden saying, well, I'm going to put a couple of single family homes here and then I'm going to just fill in with townhomes, because a developer wants to be able to sell that. Also in reference to the common area, I heard that question brought up by somebody. Yes, you are correct. It's going to be kind of tricky on who mows, but I also think that this could be an opportunity where we can develop a community can get developed that I don't see 1 acre being a homeowner association. I see those townhomes being more within another homeowner association to help bring in entry-level home buyers, having them being part of community, feeling part of the community, and bringing more to our community. So for that common area, that could be with the homeowner association of this is part of your service, just like if you have a condo or if you're in some of those kinds of communities. So these are things that I think are good for future discussion, but where we're starting, I think, is a great opportunity to really bring to Yelm more than just, at some point, I see us being nothing but $500,000 homes. And nobody can really come into that entry level, in particular, as was mentioned, the military members, which are just right next door to us with JBLM. So
Right.
I hope you've heard me and will take that in consideration as well. And thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Yours.
Okay, well, what I just wanted to remind people of, I have a brother-in-law in Scotland, and he owns a townhome, and the people next to him have, it's a shared, what it amounts to is, by their definitions, a shared wall. So there are townhomes, one on each side. And as far as common areas are concerned, they each have their own garden, their own front yard and their own backyard. And it's split by a little fence, right? And then the common area is some park someplace around, in the neighborhood somewhere. So I don't know that that's an issue. The HOA could handle the parks and all that, but you still would own that land and that property, but you're just sharing a wall with some other family or some other person.
Thank you for that. Those are really good points, Carlos.
I just want to add, Brian is one of our city councilors, and he's also on our public services committee that the city council runs. So we work with Brian and his staff pretty closely on different development proposals and things like that. So Brian, thank you for your comments. We appreciate that.
Do we need to do a motion to approve these updates? So you can take.
Yes, prior to that though, are there any further questions or concerns that would like to be addressed? Okay, well, it's
I have
currently
one question.
Mhm.
I thought this was a planning commission meeting and not a staff meeting. I felt as chairman, I have been literally cut out of the picture. There are motions that you have made that should be done by the chairman to request commission motions that we approve that I should be doing, not staff.
I think it's a learning curve.
I think it's a learning curve. What happened, Jerry, is you were missing the first time. And so with the new staff, they didn't know how we conducted these meetings. And so I think we can go back to the way that we used to do it. Maybe by this next requesting the a motion. Maybe we can do it there.
Well, oddly enough, hate to be the guy throwing a big pole in the tent, it has to be run by the chair.
Yes.
And when there's not a chair, then the alternate chair does it. And when it's
Yes.
not the alternate chair, then another member does. Because the planning commission would be just like, this is no different than the city council. You couldn't have the city council run in and no councilmen are running it, the mayor isn't running it, and somebody else is running it. So reality would be that to do this correctly, one of the planning commissioners has to run this meeting by, I think, the rules of government.
That's correct. It's
And
not
so
Jerry,
I
it's
would
Floyd.
concur with Jerry that basically it's too late now on this one, but at the beginning of a meeting, if you have a quorum, then somebody has to run it that is a member of the planning commission. Has to be the person running that. It can't be a staff member, or it can't be a staff member asking for votes.
Well, I would like to state, I apologize, Jerry, and I did not know. Now I do know, and I do appreciate you coming forward and saying this to me. This will be run by you from here on out as of even today. So if you would like to adjourn the hearing and ask for any more comments or concerns.
I believe we have a question by Carlos when you get done.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry. I was actually the comment that I made previously. I forgot to lower my hand. Thank you.
And I'll Jerry, I'll jump in to second that. We're fairly new as far as what Yelm does. I think as far as Sarah and I've been here, then for whatever reason, staff has been jumping in to run the meetings. But we absolutely in most other cities, then the planning commission chair is the one who actually runs the meeting and opens and closes hearings and things. So we are happy to defer that to you, and we will know to just defer to you from now on.
Yeah, if I can be truthful, Jerry, actually what you're telling me is that I can do less work. So I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Absolutely. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and finish us off?
Okay. Do we have any more comments for the public hearing?
No. Mm-mm.
Hearing none, then the public hearing portion is, I have a motion that we need to adjourn the public hearing portion of the Planning Commission's meeting. John, you going to make the motion?
I'll move that we close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, Ann did the second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Is there any other information that we need to come before the Planning Commission? Please let your comments be known.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the updates that were presented by staff today and to have those go forward for the Unified Development Code changes.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Carlos has seconded. All in favor? Got any discussion? Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, committee reports.
Could I defer to Chris Vaccaro for a committee report on the tree board?
Yes, please. Chris,
Chris,
could you give the tree report?
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Mhm.
All right. So right now we're really focusing on our Arbor Day celebration. Working with local nurseries to get tree saplings that we'll give out to people attending Arbor Day, working on the program, working on getting bands that are going to perform. Also with the tree board, we're working on getting new members. We do have new member applications. We're just waiting for those to be processed. John's been doing a fantastic job on the tree board. You know, the city of Yelm appreciates its volunteers. We know all of you folks could be doing other things right now, but you're passionate about your city and you want to have a say in the direction that the city goes. We commend all of you for that, so thank you. So basically, yeah, the tree board, that's our big focus right now is the Arbor Day celebration. As we get into planning season, we're going to work on replacing some of the trees that have been damaged, whether by weather, cars, working more on our tree inventory, making sure that we're maintaining. And I had just completed our Tree City USA recertification. So we spent the money required to us per capita based on our population. So we are a Tree City USA recognized city by the Arbor Day Foundation for 26 years in a row now. Some of the signs as you see coming into Yelm, whether it be from Lacey, Tenino, or McKenna, those will be updated with the 26-year signs. everyone's really doing a fantastic job. We're really excited to have Arbor Day in person again. We're just trying to get all the performers, the flag presenters for the presentation of the colors, putting everything together so we have a great celebration, because I know a lot of folks missed it the last 2 years in light of the pandemic. And I think I speak for all of us when I say we're ready to get back to life as we used to know it.
When is
Thank you.
Arbor Day?
That's going to be Friday, April 29th at 11 a.m. at the Yum Community Center. So some of the local businesses probably later this week will have posters up advertising Arbor Day. We're going to reach out to East Haven Memory Care because I know a lot of the residents there like to attend Arbor Day. We have a lot of students that'll be in attendance, so it's going to be a lot of fun. This week I should have all the Arbor Day Art Contest art in. So we're going to meet next Monday, John, with the tree board, sit down at City Hall and judge some of the art entries and see what our first, second, third place from each grade will be. It's a lot of fun. You know, a lot of the schools get to participate. They get to be creative. They get to have a lot of fun. We really open it up to a wide myriad of students. Yeah, you know, I'll probably pick up a couple bags of cookies. You know, the Girl Scouts are out there selling them everywhere. So we make sure we feed everybody when they come to these things. And again, you know, Yum really appreciates its volunteers. We admire you a great deal for what you do, and we've enjoyed working with you. If anybody has any questions, please feel free.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you,
know
Chris.
Brian has questions, Chairman.
I just looking to see if anybody have any questions of Chris for giving his excellent report. Hearing none. And do you have anything for the parks?
Yes, got some good things for the parks. Yum City Park, you probably noticed that we've got brand new picnic tables across the park and a brand new tree that's going to grow into our new Christmas tree for the park. And the fitness court, there is a paved pad out by the old parking lot. And that's going to be turned, it's approved now by the council to turn into what's called a fitness court for adults that has all kinds of positions where you can do various exercises across that court. And Cody, head of Public Works, is looking for potential sponsors that want to put signs on the back side of that court. There'll be a wall along it where where the things hang and where you can do the exercises from. The backside will be a place that various municipal businesses or people can do a donation. He was suggesting somewhere around $500. And they're also going to be looking for an art to complement Yum and the water tower for that backside as well. Other things that are going on, the Veterans Memorial. They're due to have design work done in the May-June timeframe. So I thought Jerry, you and John may be aware of that. If not, contact Cody Colt
Okay.
on the Veterans Memorial that's being reworked. There'll be a stage in the Yum City Park, and that design is happening in May. And we're also trying to determine what to do with the pavilions. There's at least one pavilion that has walls to it. Those walls are becoming problematic because there's artwork, you could call it graffiti artwork, that goes on to those pavilion walls on a regular basis. And so we're looking at possibly removing the pavilion that has the walls in it. If there's any comment on that, I'd be glad to take comments back. Or again, you can send them to Cody, but I can definitely take comments back. Other things that are going on, there's a lot of work going on for Christmas in the Park and Prairie Days. And if anyone's interested in participating in making those happenings happen, there's an April 6th meeting on that. I believe it's at the community center.
Evening,
I think it's in the evening. The person, Michael Malik, if you want to find out more details, contact Michael about that. And the dog park, there's work going on at the dog park. It's going into construction. Will be out for bid in April on the dog park. And I had heard there was, from the last Parks Board meeting, there should be some type of a design, the conceptual design of the dog park should be out on the website, the city website. If it's not out there yet, it should be out there shortly. So you'd be able to take a look at it. It looks really nice. And you'd be able to see what's planned in the parking lot, as well as for the structures and the fencing. And it's planned to be opened by the end of the summer. So go through design and then construction, and it's out on Roten Road, or just off Roten Road, for anyone who wants to go and check out where this new dog park's going to be. And we always ask, since we have Cody Colt there in the meeting, we ask him about water rights every time. And we finally pinned him down, and he said he thinks that we might have an answer by April 5th. But I think you'd have to be reading the minds of the folks at Ecology to know for sure. But not to say anything negative on that, but we've been waiting only about 10 or 12 years. So let's get it done. But April 5th is our next time we're hoping to have an answer.
And I have a question.
Yes.
What's the feedback on the community gardens that they put in the city park? Have you received any positive, negative, or any feedback on those?
We have not received any negative feedback at all. We've received enough feedback that says we need to pave another sidewalk to the garden, so that it's continuous sidewalk all around the perimeter of the city park, so that you can actually get from the gardens all the way back over to the community center. Right now, it's a dead, you can go all the way to the gardens, and then you walk back again. I think it might be more helpful to have some type of an article in the Nisqually Valley News that lets people know that the gardens actually exist, and if they're missing vegetables in their diet, they can come by and pick some. But I don't know. Have you heard anything, John? Positive, negative?
nope.
Oh, it's I don't know the next time that there's going to be planting done, but there are definitely there's a lot of kale and collards that are still growing. There's new onion sets that are out. The herbs are definitely up. So I was very tempted to pick as I went through. So,
A little healthy munching.
yes. But I haven't heard any comments from people. I have heard a lot of comments on the park. We actually had a donation from a local, just a $2,000 donation to get more park benches like the ones that we got in.
Nice. Wow.
So we're gonna, yeah, that was not from someone who's well off. They decided they really wanted to have more benches and more places to sit. And they really like what's happened to City Park. And there's more happening. And he said there's going to be a stage, and the pavilions may or may not still be able to be there the whole time, because that may be where the slope from the stage goes. Plus it's the graffiti that ends up, it's not necessarily nice graffiti that's out there, but it happens very frequently. That those buildings, the ones that have the walls. And that's about it. There's design work still going on the Yelm Prairie Line Trail extension. And the construction will start after a cultural survey is completed. And that's should be a month or so from now.
And did you say a cultural survey?
A cultural survey. When you pull up, they're going to be pulling up all of the rails from where the trail stops. They'll be pulling up all the rails all the way to the river. And when you pull up rails, you have to determine whether there are any indigenous sites that you may be disturbing. And so that's being done right now to record that. And so we want to make sure that we're not, tearing up something that, of course, it's a railway. It's actually an area that's been disturbed in the past to build that railway in there. But to find out if there's anything that we'd be disturbing further by pulling up all that stuff. And I'm one of the few that probably walks it on a regular basis because of where I live. So it's I'm ready.
Have you seen anything that might be disturbed as you walk it?
No, there's some new, very, very small fir trees and pine trees. I'd sure like to replant those someplace else for the Arbor group. If you want to walk that trail and dig up some of those young little trees. But that's the only thing that I've seen out there. I haven't seen any indigenous anything that would indicate that.
Yeah, no oaks. No oaks.
No oaks. No, they're not oaks. They're all evergreens. But that's all. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you, Ann. I really hope in April we'll have an in-person planning commission meeting at the City Hall. It's important to all of us on the planning commission to get to know the staff that's on in city planning. We are a team and we need to get together and start to talk to each other so we can do these things. So that is very important. Sarah and Landon, I am available. I'm retired, and just give me a call and I will drive in. So, but I hope that we have a planning commission meeting in person at the City Hall next month. In fact, Sarah, I sent you an email relative to that. Other than that, I have nothing. I would entertain. Yes, Sarah.
Yeah, I wanted to speak a little bit on us meeting in person for that. So we are actually doing something entertaining. We are no longer at City Hall. We are actually going to be at Public Works, and we actually will have the full meeting room downstairs. Plus, we're going to be having our own meeting room upstairs. So yeah, so if anyone has any issues with like the stairs, please let us know in advance. Hopefully this will all be done by April. That's what we're really really trying to get done, at least Cody is. That may not happen, but if it doesn't, Public Works room down here, our conference room is great and it can house quite a few people. So it would be fantastic if we could do it over at Public Services, if you guys would be all okay with that.
Yes.
I'll piggyback onto that and just say, I think we would still want to explore the possibility of doing it at City Hall if the city council chambers are available. But we can also definitely look at Public Works conference room or something like that. Public Works conference room doesn't have a lot of seating. So if we have a controversial issue, that's my only concern with it. But otherwise, we could certainly consider it. So, Jerry, maybe you and I could talk or email in the next couple of days, just to talk about the possibility. We definitely want to go back to in-person as well. This current group of planners has never actually met any of you in person, as far as I'm aware. So we definitely want to connect with you in person. I think that's a great idea, Jerry. So we'll look at the best possible meeting place and go from there. And also, just as a reminder, it is London, not Landon. Just a note on that. But otherwise, yeah, Jerry, let's get together in the next couple of days on the phone or over email, just so that we can touch base on the possibility of an in-person meeting next month. That sounds really good.
Okay, yes, and I'm on the computer a lot because I do a lot of legislative work too. So
Okay.
I look forward to that, and plus going over to that space where you're talking about is on the way over to my sister's house, so no problem on that.
And is can recordings and can we do the video recordings from there of the meetings?
That's a really good point, Anne. I think we actually still could, but like London said, this will be her final call. So we could, as long as we just had Zoom going. And it actually is beneficial for us to have Zoom going at the same time we do planning commission, in case there is a few people who have restrictions and can't come in person.
That's it.
You might check on whether or not it's better to do it at City Hall because of the fact we do public hearings and you'd be flipping back and forth. And with public hearings, you'd have to have handicapped access. So I kind of look at what London said about probably it might be better to have the planning commission meetings at the council chambers, City Hall. That's something to consider, since we are a public hearing type organization.
Yeah, I'll discuss with my team tomorrow in our staff meeting, John, and then Jerry, I'll touch base with you maybe by email this week to figure out what we want to do as far as that goes. But we do have the capacity for Zoom in Public Works Building on the bottom floor. I don't think our top floor conference room is going to have the capacity for planning commission meetings or any kind of public hearing. But we do have that capacity downstairs to do Zoom from the conference room. So we'll discuss pros and cons, and we'll let all of you know ASAP what we decide to do.
Okay, yeah, appreciate that. And I thought Brian had his hand up. Did you have something, Brian?
Yes, Chairman. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I want to say thank you for what you guys do as a planning commission, being part of the public service committee meeting and also on the council. I'm hoping to be able to attend these meetings a little bit more. I apologize that due to my work schedule, it might be Zoom is how I attend, but I will be wanting to reach out to you as we develop projects and work on things, seeing how you're part of the planning commission and can help guide us on how to do things. So I want to say thank you for your volunteering and thank you for your assistance on helping make Yelm a better community through proper planning and such. Thank you very much.
Does anybody else have anything to share with the committee and staff? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I second the motion. Beach it.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Everybody be safe. Hope you have a good day and that everything works out great for coming month. And London, I hope to get together with you some other time here the next week.
That sounds good, Jerry. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.